Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Jake Tapper gets completely dismantled by Brian Mast on what's actually going on at USAID. Let's dive in.
Your Democratic counterpart on the committee, Congressman Gregory Meeks, says it doesn't make the United States safer for this idea to be out there because it actually puts a target on Americans if individuals think that the U.S. is planning on ridding Gaza of Palestinians and taking it over. What's your response to that?
I think it begs a very important question about what is the Gaza that we are dealing with. Are we dealing with a Gaza that's totally rid of Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, Lion's Den, Fatah, other terrorist organizations, and dealing with a group of people that are willing to accept that there will be an independent and Jewish state, that they're willing to say they're done with kidnappings, bombings, bus bombings, cafe bombings, terrorism, you name it, that's been conducted year after year, decade after decade. Are they done with that, and are they willing to have this unconditional surrender? Are you dealing with that kind of Gaza and people that are just what are always said, innocent civilians that want to go out there and live in peace, that have been dislocated because of the war that has been going on and are now showing up back to neighborhoods that they haven't been in for a while, but because of the infestation of terrorists are nothing more than rubble right now, so they really don't have a choice but to relocate? Those are important circumstances for anybody to recognize.
So you served honorably in Afghanistan, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on a second subject on USAID. Trump seems to be shutting down USAID. As you know, it's in the Ronald Reagan building. President Reagan spoke a lot about the need for there to be soft power out there, and foreign aid is very important. Do you think removing critical foreign aid that stabilizes countries and builds goodwill will make the U.S. more safe? I understand that there might be problems with individual USAID programs, and maybe you don't have a problem with Marco Rubio taking over it. But the general idea of foreign aid, do you think that makes us safer?
What you have going on, and you're not going to find very many that are more critical of USAID than myself, is an agency that was out there spending $15 million to give condoms to the Taliban. That's a real thing. Or $500,000 to teach Indonesian coffee makers on how to be more gender friendly. And I'm just giving you a couple examples to say this wasn't the exception. This was the rule of what was going on. And if you want things to still move forward in terms of aid, you could have a more streamlined system that's more accountable, better command and control by having that fall directly under Secretary Rubio right now, instead of the individuals that were in there since January 20, literally hiding things, burning documents, and making sure that they had every availability to lie to Congress and everybody else about the programs that they were actually doing, because that's what they did to me for the last 2 years as Foreign Affairs Oversight Chairman. That comes to an end. If those things weren't being conducted, you might have a different looking USAID today. But because that was taking place, this was the only option in how to right that ship.
Can you send me the background and backup information for this $50 million in condoms to the Taliban? Because I've
15,
never...
yes, 100%.
15.
$15 million to the Taliban for condoms and contraceptives, 100%. Happy
Send
to
it to
get
me,
that to you.
and I'll
There was
post it on...
another $3 million to go to the Caribbean just for being, quote, LGBTQ. I could give you pages and pages of lists if you want to see it.
Do it. I'll text you right at the commercial break.
We put it in a video so you can see it in video. I replied to all my Democrat colleagues that were out there saying these were Republican lies to say, here's about a 5-minute video of a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on. You can reference that too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the documentation. I'm not saying it's true or false. I don't know, but I'd love to see it.
I'm telling you it's true.
Okay.
That's not journalism, okay? A good journalist can figure that information out on their own. It is not on the burden of proof for Brian Mast to give one specific key detail, not even key detail, minute detail about what goes on behind closed doors with where the money goes for USAID. And remember, folks, before I dive into exactly where our money has been going, our tax dollars, we need to start looking at why people, for some reason, thinking Jake Tapper did this as well. He called foreign aid and USAID the exact same things. They are not. They are completely different things. Foreign aid is its own ball of wax. USAID, however, is its own entity. Okay? There's a difference going on here. So not only is Jake Tapper a terrible excuse for a journalist, He also is equivocating two things that aren't the same. Just shame on this dude. All right, this is not journalism. All right, this is yellow gotcha journalism. And you know what? Republicans aren't playing ball in this T-ball Bush League field anymore. We're not playing by these crappy rules. So if you want to know, Jake, where your money is actually going with USAID, here is a list from the White House itself. Okay? $15 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. Then $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam. $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. Oh my, I didn't know the pyramids needed a PR stunt. Seriously, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. I think they're doing just fine. Maybe we should ask the Sphinx a couple of questions while we're at it. This is insane. This is insane, and the people that keep on propping up this insanity are equally as insane. And Jake Tapper is guilty of doing such an asinine task. He is carrying water for the very people who are wasting millions upon millions of your tax dollars. And then here's the next movement of the goalposts. Well, this is just a drop in the bucket. Why do you care about drops in the bucket? There are much bigger things. You want to take on the military-industrial complex too? Yes, that's what we want to do. We want to cut and slash our government where it's necessary to save our taxpayer money. It's called being good stewards of someone else's property, because the U.S. governmental property is the belonging of the people of the United States. Therefore, someone else is taking stewardship over that, and they have not done a too good of a job. Now, have they? And for someone to just sit there and ask for a burden of proof when all this dude has to do, all Jake Tapper has to do, is go online, go on Google, and just, type some things in. That's all he has to do, but he can't and he won't do that. He can't do that because that means he has to be a journalist again and not some TV personality. And it also means that if he was to factually check out and then present those facts on his own show, he would be breaking the veil, breaking the illusion, and that's something that has been happening across the entirety of America right now. There's a huge amount of Democrats that I've been seeing on social media recently after the kerfluffle that has happened from the USAID fallout. And they're starting to realize, wait a minute. This is the party that the Democrat Party is so supportive of these illegal migrants. Why aren't they so supportive of the people who actually vote for them? Then the Democrat Party is okay with sending millions upon millions of tax dollars overseas for things like, let's go back to the list for a moment. And this is the smaller stuff, but $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, and $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. Those are at the top of the list, by the way. And then you have people who are having enough curiosity to go, wait a minute, I've been voting Democrat my whole life. They're supporting the illegal immigration crisis, which is taking away money that usually goes back to me and my community. And then they're defending this money that gets sent overseas to do what exactly? People with more than a room temperature IQ and a basic inquisitive nature are looking into this. That's why the internet has become such a wonderful place. It's a dangerous place full of terrible takes, bad information, and yet an inquisitive person with a basic ability to do a Google search can find more of the truth than what is being presented on CNN at this very moment. Brian Mast has to fight, or at least has used to fight upstream against the current of the mainstream media, having to fight Democrats who are trying to hook them on their fishing lines, a current that is swift in trying to whisk the Republicans downstream, but finally that fish has swum upstream, it has spawned, and now the truth is flowing back out. That's the reality of the matter. That's the wonders of the internet as we know it. That's why I'm able to come up here and say what's on my mind here and talk about these issues, because it is a freer flow of information, and it's something that not even the CIA can stop. So folks, the reality is USAID is being abused abroad, often to project soft power. Now, this was mentioned back in the Reagan era, when we had to fight the literal evil empire that was the Soviet Union. Now, who are we fighting? The Cubans? Our warfare has changed over time. And so to project soft power like this at the waste of our tax dollars, I'm sorry, we don't need this relic of the past. The world doesn't need this kind of insanity. I'm pretty sure the world can live without having, let's see, what's the thing in Peru? Transgender comic books in Peru. I don't think that's vital to the world economy. That's not vital to our national defense. It might be vital to someone who is funneling money back to who knows where, but hey, again, that's what the internet's for, and I can't wait to see what Elon Musk uncovers next. Because Brian Mast is trying to tell the truth on CNN. Maybe it'll stick. Maybe something will stick on that wall. But Jake Tapper, I think we know by now, this man has no integrity as a journalist. And let's be honest, that's about the best we can expect from him. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politbro. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.